So like I never felt right recording myself. Like, here I am, guys. What's YouTube? So that was the worst thing for me. You get me a stage, I can do it because these people bought a ticket to see me. But the first videos are kind of scary. And I will tell you, there's a lot of videos where I'm like, hey guys, here. Oh, someone's walking.
Anybody there?
What's up, Dad Hat Crew, and welcome to another episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles Podcast. This week, I give you part one of my conversation with Flobo Boyz. He is a podcaster. He's a content creator. He works with some crazy brands out there, okay, guys? He even put out a commercial with Major League Baseball. That's right. And then one of my favorite things that he does is he works with cheats of the Black Baseball Mixtape. That's right. He'll be on the podcast later on. But this time, we're going to talk to Flobo, okay? Listen, we talked about how he got started in all of this. Wrestling is one of his main loves. We also talked about content creator, okay? How he goes about it, what he does, some of his fears, some of the things that he still worries what he does as a content creator that I do as well, it was funny. It was, it was a little cool to, feel the same way because like sometimes as a content creator, you feel like you're all in your own bubble. They think it's like, oh, I'm the only one that's an idiot enough to just, try to, be afraid of, creating some content out in public. Nope. I was wrong. And I love it. So guys, without further ado, I give you the episode. All right. Well, I want to welcome you guys to yet another episode of the Dad Hat Chronicles. My name is Ed Rivera, also known as the Dad Hat. And with me today, I got a good friend, man. We just met online. I heard your episode with our good friend Anna. Flobo, how you doing, man? How you been, brother?
I'm good. I'm not as good as you, man, because I've been lurking in the live stream. You got a crew going, got a whole community building around hats, man, and baseball culture. I'm just jealous. I'm excited to be a part of it,
Yeah, you know what? It's been fun. The live show has been something that I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to be in radio, right? And I was like, all right, I look for places no one had. I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to create my own show.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So I did.
You got to do. No, seriously, like the whole DIY stuff is like, it used to be cool, but now it has to be. If you want to do something, just go ahead and do it.
You got to do it yourself because ain't nobody else going to do it for you.
Absolutely. And toot your own horn. Because it's your horn, right?
Right. Boom, boom. There you go. Right. Listen, that's how it is right nowadays. So, but you know what? Let's get started. Everybody asks you the question. I'm going to ask it just go, that's how it is. Why baseball, right? Like, why the sport of baseball? I mean, obviously we all follow all the sports. I love football, basketball and all that, but why baseball?
That's actually a really dope question because like most, I was saying this to Anna too on the Baseball Bucket List podcast. Shout out to that Curb Media.
Shout
right?
out Anna.
I wish I was somebody who was intensely with it all the time. I think almost something you love deeply, you take a couple of years off, you separate. So growing up, I watched baseball because my parents are immigrants from the West Indies where cricket is a sport. So my dad has had it on as like a let me learn American culture type thing. So we had both teams in New York playing all the time. I took the Mets really early because we had brown and black players, a lot more than the Yankee side, and that became my thing. When I moved out to college the first time in Florida and college the second time in Orange County, having the interlocking NY was almost like a tribal mark, right? Because the Yankees were so good. Jay-Z made it popular. Fred Durst made the hat popular. Everyone had the NY. But if you saw somebody with a Mets cap, they had some connection to my hometown that was 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 miles away. So it became part of my identity. And as my parents got older and it gets harder to talk to them about YouTube views and podcast guests, we kind of reconnected on baseball because that's what my dad likes to watch. So I would say, let's go Mets. How about those Mets? And it's always been a fun time. So it's a part of my whole soul, if you will, but it took me a journey to get there.
It's funny because it's the same thing. Like my dad was not really a big fan of baseball. Like, I mean, I grew up, my uncle pitched minor league baseball back in Puerto Rico, right? So he was a pitcher and all that. But like, I never really had that, like, with a lot of parents, like, oh, my dad taught me the game. I was like, my dad's a pastor. It's like, so it's like, never really learned it from him, but like something about it, right? Moved here to Ohio, we moved to Ohio first from Puerto Rico. Love Cleveland. That's how it is, right? From the Caribbean here. And then, it's something that connects us all. I really like what you said though. I was like, it's your way of connecting with your dad, even though like, his first love is cricket. but like you guys connected on a different level when it comes to baseball.
Yeah, there's so many times where I'll be out here. I live in Los Angeles now. Every times I've been out here and I'm just like stuck in like just LA stuff that my
Yeah.
dad doesn't know. And I'll call him, hey, what are you doing? He goes, I'm watching the game because he's 3 hours ahead. So it's like afternoon for me and evening for him. And he'll like commentate what's happening, or he'll like rooting for the most random guy of the team. And it's like, you know what? Doesn't matter what's going through your mind. Those things are absolute. Your dad's your dad. There's going to be, 4 bases. There's going to be 9 innings. Let's just talk it out. And then a lot of times things you were worrying about before kind of evaporates because you kind of refocus what's important.
Yeah, it's true. It's absolutely true. Let me ask you, because I've always wanted to know this from someone who follows the sport of cricket, right? There's a lot of differences between the sport. Obviously, we know this, but there's some similarities, right? So did that become a little bit easier for you guys learning baseball because you follow cricket, or was it actually a little bit harder?
Well, it's a little bit easier now. So I came up in the wrong time because now there's a form of cricket called 2020 or T20 cricket, and that's like designed to be played in 2 hours. So it's like the newest version of cricket. It's like it was created in my lifetime, so it's easy to compare. But back then, Test cricket and one day cricket is exactly what it sounds like. Test cricket was like a 3 or 4 day test between teams, and they would go back and forth. So it was like a war of attrition. And so I would sit there and say, well, the bat's flat. You could do that. Try hitting the ball with a round bat or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was so different. And also there's a game that children play in the Commonwealth called rounders. So that's like the more similar to baseball as far as like the round bat and running around. But because kids played it, it was kind of cast aside. Hey, baseball, that's a ripoff of this children's game. Real men play cricket. When you talk to cricket men, they're all about that. But what I have realized, and I don't want to jump ahead.
No, go for it.
Going into like the United Arab Emirates this year, covering baseball with Baseball United, which is a cricket nation, was that there is some overlap between the idea of going to a ground, catching some food, and watching a game of entertainment. And it may be a bit of a bridge to cross, but I do think that path is there.
Interesting. Because, obviously, right, cricket, like you said, test is like 3-4 days long. That's insane. Like, for fans to go in there, and then I'm sure they had to leave and then come back because you just can't just be there. But like now that you have that new version 2020 has been more of a, all right, let's make this a little bit more of an entertainment sport. We can watch it in a couple of hours, get some fans in and all that. So that's become a little bit easier for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how kids played growing up. And I always spend summers out in Barbados, which is where my parents are from. Like I had to learn to be out there all day. Like kids would get the stump that would make out at like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. and play until sunset, like 6 o'clock. And I had no idea. I was like, hey guys, 2 hours lunchtime? And they go, no.
When we stop for some lunch, I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah, after I sat down, I go, no, what are you doing? This is baseball. So it is kind of a learning thing, a learning process. But you're right. When it is test cricket time, you kind of go, it has almost like a picnic, almost like a live Woodstock situation. You go with your friends and family, have a couple meals in the seat, you laugh, and you leave with the intention of coming back the next day to see how the game progressed.
That's interesting. I gotta sit down one day and watch it. That's, because I really haven't, I'll be honest, I really haven't sat down and really taking the time to really learn cricket. There's a lot of rules. It's a little bit different, right? But I really want to, one of these days, I'll sit down and watch it and really learn. And I'm sure, obviously, as we both know, YouTube has videos for everything, and you'll learn pretty much anything on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube University helped me out because I get confused with like some of the nuances of like a strike or a wicket or like my wicket, things like that too. YouTube is like now my go-to search engine. I will YouTube things before Googling things now. It's just kind of like, can I see this visually? Enter? Great.
Yeah, this is the new search engine, right? Like, that's what it is. Yeah. We search everything on YouTube. I'm like, hold on a second. I got to, change the oil. Let me go in and watch a YouTube video really quick on how to change an oil on my car. It's how it is nowadays.
Why not, man? Like, it is too expensive to ask for real people sometimes for things.
Sometimes you even get the wrong answer too.
Right.
So if I can visually see it, I'm like, all right, I can see where that's coming from. All right, cool. I can see that now. But like, when you say it's like, ask somebody, like, oh, I don't know about this answer.
Try this. Yeah.
Right. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your brand, man. Like in baseball, like, why did you decide to, obviously we all have grand, dreams of, our brand taking off and all that, but why you decided to take on this endeavor.
Oh, you mean in the baseball world?
Yeah.
So I gotta take a step back. So as far as like what I'm trained in, so I'm a stand-up comic, but like as far as like training and broadcasting, it's professional wrestling. So I have covered
That's right, you
professional
are.
wrestling, for 15 years now, which is crazy because I'm old enough where I can say 15 years and it still sounds legit.
Yeah, but then you look at the date and you're like,
oh man, this time is undefeated.
Yeah.
So I was covering wrestling for 15 years. That's like the one strand. On the other strand, I had my own podcast, and it's on the airs Thursday. It's called New Amsterdam Radio, where I talk to creatives in general, like just in general. Doesn't matter if you're an artist or a breakdancer or a farmer. I was doing that. The third part of this is that I was actually contracted with Spotify to cover pro wrestling on their show called Mac Mania. Bill Simmons had this sports network called The Ringer. Spotify bought that and came a wrestling program. So I was a legitimate wrestling broadcaster. So put everything together. I was doing New Amsterdam with a baseball coach Ernest Wharton out of Chicago, and it was a fantastic time because I asked him questions about Black people in baseball. I grew up a Frank Thomas guy, even though I was a Mets fan for life. The Big Hurt was the guy I wanted to be.
Like
so
everybody,
cool.
Exactly.
Dude, I gotta tell people all the time. He got video games, I bought video games. He had malt liquor, I bought malt liquor. He sold wiener pills, I bought all those wiener pills because she'll like it too. You know what I mean? So I had Ernest on, and he was like, "Hey, have you heard about Cheats?" I'm like, "What's that, an app?" He goes, No. It's a show called the Black Baseball Mixtape. Mark Cheatham hosted. He's really cool. Connect with him. At the same time, Spotify had said, "Hey, look, we're going to sunset your show. It's been a good run, but we're condensing our efforts." And just talking with Cheats about what he wanted to do with his platform, with my experience and somehow blending something that could be ridiculous with comedy, I said, "Hey, look, I don't need to be your co-host quite yet, but if you need any kind of extra content out there, I can be that man on the street." Yeah. And it was kind of like, "Oh, we'll talk about it." But then his brand was expanding with the Sunday Lives and he wanted something to bounce off of. Or I was doing my own ballpark chasing tour for my own bucket list. He goes, "Hey, look, out there, bring a camera." And we kind of like grew together. And Black Baseball Mixtape this year was like all dubs, man. People know who we are. Like people are asking him for advice. It's a pretty cool ride, you know?
It's been fun to see. I love seeing that, right? Like I love when people like, grow their brand from nothing and they put in those hard, sweat, blood, tears, like everything, right? Like, I mean, it's and to see it to the level where you're being recognized for that brand. Oh, that's amazing.
Oh yeah, and it's funny too because like when you're in the, how it is. Dad,
yeah.
You're kind of like, man, ain't no one gonna see this, man. Like I got a day job, I got errands to run, I got that gutter I needed to fix. What am I doing cutting this video? But then someone hits you up and goes, "Oh man, that video was great." Like I really put it in perspective. And for me, I was in Denver in July, and I had just done a commercial for MLB, and someone had noticed me from the commercial. They're like, "Hey, yeah, you're the guy." I go,
"Dude, I remember you doing the bet, your full bet flip with the phone."
Man.
I'm like, "Man, dude, I still see that in my head, bro."
Yeah, man. They asked me, "He do a bat flip?" I was like, "What do you want? Tatis? Do you want like what do you want?" But they didn't recognize for that. I go, "No, but I also follow you because of the Black Baseball Mixtape." So they saw me in the MLB playoff commercial and they followed me because of that. And that kept me like in the game, so to speak, in that space. And I go, I had no idea people notice or care. I'm just doing it because I love it, because I was burnt out having Spotify just saying we're done. But I found a new family in Cheats in his mixtape, and people are noticing what we're doing. And I say, why not ride this as long as I can?
Hell yeah, dude. Let's before we continue with the Black Baseball Mixtape, I want to talk to you about this whole endeavor because you mentioned it on wrestling and Spotify, right?
Sure.
That must have been cool as hell, right? You have your radio show, you're doing your play-by-play and all that. But you say and something that caught my attention is you infuse it with comedy.
Yeah. So a lot of times, professional wrestling, we know, is predetermined. Sorry, spoiler alert. There's writers, right? So determined. I'm just saying.
No way.
Hot take. I'm pre-thinking right now. So that's kind of the ridiculousness of it. Look, a lot of people who do podcasts in the wrestling space are my age. I'm in my 30s. The people are older, people are younger.
Yep.
But they've always approached it from like, "Oh man, what are they doing? They are not making my guy win. They're not making my guy lose. I like this match. I like that match." And when it comes to wrestling, the matches are great. I love moves and holds, but when you're talking to your boys at like the barbershop. You don't go, oh man, that was a dope snap, a take home. Oh man, that was a great like suplex. No, you say this character looks dope. This match was great. It made me feel this way. So I said, can I have a show where I talk about the feelings, the psychological stuff, the character work side performers? And it's so ridiculous because you have to explain what a Fiend is, rest in peace. You have to explain what a John Cena is. You got to do it with a little bit of sheepishness and go, yes, I know I'm an adult with a broadcasting degree from college who is talking about grown men in tights. It's fun. And that kind of became like a fun thing for me because I would pretend like it is real, like it is kayfabe. I was like, oh man, he lost 3 matches in a row. I think he's trash. He's washed. Is he? Like I'll ask these dumb questions and people will go, oh my gosh, is he clowning around? But that's the kind of positive engagement we want. We always get too caught up in being the smartest person in the room. We don't want to entertain people, right?
But you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. That's the thing.
That's the thing. You could be as dumb as you want to when you're not trying to be the smartest guy in the room. And people go, hey, look, I watched 3 hours of wrestling and I'm checking out your show. This is great. Hey, I watched 6 baseball games, but I'm checking out the Black Baseball Mixtape, you know?
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Cause like, I'll be honest with you, dude, I'm not the smartest person, but like there has to be passion, first of all, for whatever it is that you do. And then for me it's all about having fun, right? If you're not having fun with what you're doing, dude, forget it. Just do something else. Because at that point it becomes a job.
One of my favorite artists of all time, Weird Al Yankovic, said, dare to be stupid.
Yeah.
Dare to be stupid.
Why not?
Why the heck not?
And that dude is making millions, by the way. Like,
exactly.
I mean,
and his tour still pops. He does a whole show in a segue. It's great, man. Check it out if you can.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So Spotify decided, hey, we're gonna go somewhere else. We're gonna do something different. They're like, we out. How'd you? Yeah. Let me ask you, how'd you take those news? Because people, don't, when it's like, oh, it's over. What happened to this person and such person? Well, like, we never get to hear from the on-air talent, right?
Yeah.
Like walk me through your, like, those feelings, like, of when that happened.
To say that it's mixed is kind of an understatement. So when I got the call, now from my experience, I've worked with brands before. I've worked with Fox before. I was in American Idol before. I was on BET before, ESPN. So I've been fired before. So like that.
So you're used to it.
There's a part where you have that immediate reaction, like, I'm mad. Why are you taking this away from me? Or I just bought a house. Or I just paid my bills. So that part I was able to contain and be like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll just go a different direction. Yeah. But you think about this and you see other people in your slot doing your show, doing it in a way that may not be a way you do it. There is a bit of ego there because we are creatives, right? We are, hey, you had a show crafted. They said, we don't want that, but we want this. I bet every time you bought an iPod, there was like a hater Zoom just sitting in the corner, like, I can't believe you bought it. So there was that too. But ultimately, I will say it's a privilege, man. I always tell this to people all the time. Spotify didn't pay us a lot, but I got paid to talk about pro wrestling in a broadcast environment with a top 100 company brand who had that opportunity, and it didn't last. It was 15 months altogether, but you can say,
dude.
Yeah. And and then back to the commercial thing, when I had my audition for the commercial, because the posting was, we want comedians to do a bit about baseball. And I was like, I don't know. They asked, do you have any broadcast experience? I showed them a reel from my wrestling gig at Spotify, and I got booked for that commercial. So it helped me out. So I can't, it's a mixed thing. Sometimes I'm kind of like, I'm grateful, it's okay. But then you can't be grateful when that bank account says negative.
Yeah, like you get mad as hell when
you get really mad as hell. But I wish I was in all the time. I'm only human,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Hey, listen, it is what it is, right? Like, I mean, at this point, it's like it happened, like you said, it's like, hey, listen, now I have a documented resume that I can show people, like, what I can do, my versatility. I was like, all right, we're talking baseball, but like, listen, I can do whatever it is that you need me to do because I did this for 15 months.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that, look, I could be the lead guy if you want to. I could be your sidekick character. Like, people say Howard Stern's the best, but Robin was there for years to be like, oh, Howie, you need someone to do that role too. Yeah. Back to baseball, right? You could be the best, like, first baseman in college, but if you get drafted as a bench option, you're going to say, no, I'm the guy back in college. You play your role. And maybe,
bro, listen, you tell me that I'm going to be playing a bench player in Major League Baseball, where do I sign up?
Exactly.
I'm not saying no to that. Like, one, that's a paycheck. You get a minimum paycheck because you're an MLB team. And then 2, just because you're a bench player don't mean that you can do other things. A lot of bench players have become coaches in the sport. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. You got to be able to like, go back to the whole dumb and smart guy thing, right?
Yeah.
You know where your talents are, but have confidence in yourself and say, hey, what's the best role for me? Okay, I can slip in a banana peel. I can laugh at your jokes or whatever just to make sure that I'm in the game.
So you're let go of Spotify, right? And now you go through this process of like trying to figure out, what to do next. I'm very interested in hearing like, your train of thought in this. I'm like, all right, so what do I do? It's like, did you go take some time? Like, all right, so what's my next step? What do I have to do? Because, right, you got your own show, you got your own YouTube channel and all that, but like the mindset of like, all right, so what do I do now?
Yeah, there isn't a quick answer for that.
No,
I'm still figuring that out. In the grand scheme of things, I'm still figuring that out. But I can tell you what happened.
Love that.
So when in wrestling, the high season is January through April. That's when Wrestle Kingdom happens, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. So during that time, I kind of like withdrew from wrestling wholesale. But I was kind of like, what was making me happy? And I remember getting burnt out from professional wrestling. And that's when I bought the MLB TV package. And I was watching the pregame stuff. And I said, sidebar, when we got let go from Spotify, they paid us out of contract. They basically paid us to leave. They said, look, it's on us. You're not fired. Here's your money, but just go.
Yeah, we're gonna still pay you.
We're gonna pay you. So I got the giant check of a year's worth of work without doing it. And I go,
okay.
Yeah, you put some in the 401k, sure, whatever. But after that, you're like, well, what do I want to do with all this cash? Like, I can't supersize it every night. You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to do with it? And so I started doing the ballpark chasing. And I said, on a plane ride to Kansas City, in this particular case, it was in May. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, I'm on a plane to see the Royals from LA. And this is something that I would do if I had all the money in the world. A domestic flight to see a baseball game and have dollar hot dogs. By the way, delicious dollar hot dogs are coughing. Gotta try it. But I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Oh, they're delicious.
They are. And I'm a hot dog guy. Baseball makes you a hot dog person. They do. It's a big hot dog nose up. They know.
Thank you.
But I'm sitting there going, look, this is what I want to do with all the money in the world. Why not do this now and just double down? And that's why I hit up Cheats. Hey, look, can I do more articles? Can I be your second person? If there's a prospect you don't want to interview, can I do it? When we got the call with Cash Shake, I said, if you interview Cash Shake, please give me the call to be in the room with him. Because, baseball was always like the constant. It was New York. It was my family. It never left me. It was always hanging out there and I was trying new things. Why not give it back some love,
That's amazing. I love that. And first of all, let's talk about hot dogs because hot dogs are amazing. I don't care where you go. If you go to a ballpark, that's what you got to get. I'm huge hot dog guy. That's my thing. You got to have, and a lot of people will say, it's like, oh, it can only be mustard or it can be ketchup. I don't care how you get it. Get a hot dog. That's how it goes.
That's the way it is. I'm an egalitarian. See, I grew up with Nathans. So when I went to parks and there weren't Nathans, I would just abstain.
Yeah.
But like, you'll go, there's never a dollar hamburger night.
No,
so
there isn't.
Like, I'm going over to Kansas City. It's $1 hot dog. Let me get 6 of those.
Give it to me. Like I need the big tray. Come on. And then give me a drink and then I'm fine. Give me the packets because I'm about to go eat. That's how it goes.
Absolutely, man. You know how it is.
Oh, I do. All right, so you're now you're starting to do your content with baseball, like where you decided I was like, all right, so I'm going to start traveling. I'm going to start making some Instagram reels and all of that. Like that's how it started with you. It's like it's just I'm just going to do this and do the rest.
I was a tourist. I was taking pictures, just taking pictures. And then Cheats hit me up. One time I went to New York in July and I went to, well, now it's called Maimonides, but before it was called Keyspan Park where the Brooklyn Cyclones play. I was in Maimonides and he was like, hey man, do me a favor. And I was like, what? Just record yourself saying, hey, Black Baseball Mixtape, we in here or whatever. And I did that. And I was like, sounds pretty cool. Next day I was at Citi Field. I still call it Shea. I was at Citi Field. And then 2 days later I was at Yankee Stadium. They said, hey, we're here, whatever. But after that New York trip, I go, 2 things. Black baseball is something that is thankfully growing. But as a Black man, I always wonder what's cool to visit when I go to my country because there's parts of this great nation we have where it's kind of weird. And I was like, well, is there a way for me to mix kind of like, hey, I'm this dumb big kid who's at a Tuesday game playing hooky with, hey, try this when you're here. And one thing led to the other. So if you see the progression of, hey, we're in Brooklyn versus, okay, here at Milwaukee, this was actually a team created because Bud Selig really loved the city of Milwaukee after that team went for I was like going into it, and I said, this is pretty cool. And I think But Black Baseball Mixtape, it's kind of the balance because there are hard questions about representation. There are hard questions about the pay disparity and coach opportunities. But at
100%.
the same time, you still want to be brothers who love the game too. I think there's room for both of that in that space.
Let me ask you, and then I want to go. I'll ask you another question after this. But like, it's something you said, it really, resonated with me as because you can go about the Black baseball, right? As far as, Black athletes in baseball, you can go at it two ways. One, you can go at it, I was like, all right, it is, we're not getting the opportunities. We're, down with the man and all of that, which is fine. There's a room and there's a place for that. Right.
Yeah.
But then there's also from what I've been seeing from you guys, it's like, all right, let's look at the positives of this. Let's look at the positive of the kids playing, the Black players that are already playing right now and what they can do as far as being role models for kids, that have the same upbringings as them.
Yeah. You know what? This actually comes from wrestling because that was the way I approached cheats. I was like, I love talking about the struggle, but it can't be just a struggle. This is like when we wanted diversity. I didn't want movies about slaves all the time. I mean, that's important. It's important to our history, but like sometimes I want to have I call it the big dumb movie. Like for me, it was a Red Tails because it was completely historically inaccurate about the Black pilots. It was totally written terribly, but I watched it because or Crazy Rich Asians. Like it's a big dumb romantic comedy, but you're allowing ourselves to have these moments of this big dumb entertainment because that makes it valid. That makes it part of the culture, not just saying here's the struggle. And so to me, that came from wrestling because when I was a kid, I was a fan of The Rock, and because The Rock looked like me and he dressed well, and there really wasn't anyone that looked like me. But The Rock, post Nation, when he was in the corporate champ, was just I'm the champ. After he got out of the Nation, he never said, well, I'm Black, I'm held down. It was like, I'm just good at what I do. I'm the next big thing. Yep. This company gave me the championship because I'm that guy. And to me, that was so cool. The big hurt wasn't the big black hurt. That sounds terrible. But
it does sound.
Frank Thomas was this Frank Thomas.
Yeah, but he was just the big hurt. There was no... If you didn't, nobody knew about baseball. It was like, who's the big hurt? I'm like, oh, that's Frank Thomas.
Frank Thomas,
right.
Yeah.
And then you showed him. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Absolutely. And I love that, right? Like, I mean, yes, there's a time and place to talk about the struggle, to talk about the history. By the way, everybody should go to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. It is an absolute wonderful museum. I've been there. It's gorgeous. They're building a brand new one and all that. So you guys should definitely watch it. Clemente's in there, by the way. So that's my baseball hero right there.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
Yeah. So, but like, there's also all right, let's make fun of each other, but at the same time, we know that we're giving you the theme, that we're giving you something to talk about, even though we're doing in this over exaggerated, grandiose thing that is a comedy, like you said, crazy the rich Asians.
Right. I don't want to be like that. Those comedians on podcasts who try to make it super serious, but Community starts with a joke, right? I have so many friends that have been shipped off to the military, young, scared, but they meet a guy in their barracks who, I don't know, wets his bed or something. And that's a joke they have to bond with other people or something like that. And that matters. And so I always tell cheats, let me be the dumb person. Let me jump in there in the comments and let me ask people, what's your favorite candy, Twizzlers or Red Vines? Because they're still human beings. And so the idea is that when you listen to a show that we have a guest, that you get both half of that person. Yeah, they want to hit 450-foot bombs, but they also want to give back. So.
100%. And that's why I love that. And let me ask you this, and this is something that I've experienced as far as creating content, creating videos and all that, right? Is you start so you grab your phone and you start taking, it's like, oh, I'm here. And, but you see your progression, how has your progression has been from, starting, you're making your first video to now doing it, for, a Black Baseball Mixtape and all that. I mean, there has to be a progression. There has to be some moments of embarrassments and all that fun stuff.
You're not going to believe it. I'm incredibly shy when it comes to that kind of thing.
Get out of here, dude.
I'm serious. Cause I'm from a point where you walk into a store, people look at you funny, right? So I never felt right recording myself. Here I am, guys, what's YouTube. So that was the worst thing for me. You get me a stage, I can do it because these people bought a ticket to see me. But the first videos are kind of scary. And I will tell you, there's a lot of videos where I'm like, hey guys, someone's walking. You know what I mean?
Stop.
Stop. So that does happen. It doesn't go away. I don't think that's ever going to go away. But what I have noticed is that I've gotten real good at just running and gunning. I'll say, hey, look, I want to have a wide shot. I want a shot of the field. I want a shot of me eating something, a shot of high-fiving an old person, and then go. As opposed to me walking around with it. I think that's when we get frustrated in the moment. We go, and then we do some kind of content, and we go, oh man, this is not what I had in mind. What am I going to do with this? So I guess a shot less in that case. I mean, more structure when it comes to that, but also keep it open because, like, if something changes, then you'll be able to go with the flow too.
I hope you guys enjoy that episode with Flobo. Now, make sure you guys are following him on all of the socials. Check the show notes so that way you guys can go ahead and click on it and give him a follow. All right, listen, a couple of things regarding Curve Media and Dad Hat Chronicles, okay? One, for Curve Media, our Curve Media meetup is coming up in May, the 24th, 25th, and 26th. We're going to hit up 3 teams, okay, guys? We're going to go hit the Holly Springs Salamanders, the Durham Bulls, and the Carolina Mudcats. That's right, 3 teams, 3 days. So come and join us, have fun, meet some cool people, some content creators, all that fun stuff, all right? Now, as far as the Dad Hat Chronicles podcast, the live show and all that, we're dropping it down to 1 day a week right now with the baseball season starting. We're all going to start traveling and all that, so we really don't want that to get in the way of the show and all that. So just wanted to put that out there for you guys, okay? And then, you know, as always, make sure you guys are following me. I am on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. Threads, even Twitter. You know, hit me up. All right, we'll talk. We'll hang out. Do you want to do some collaboration? Absolutely. Let's do it. All right, guys. Now that we're done with all that fun stuff, let's go ahead and give you the joke of the episode. And here it is. Why did the belt go to jail? Because it held a pair of pants. All right. I see myself out. Until then, guys, keep grinding. And always support minor leagues. See ya.
This podcast is part of the Curved Brim Media Network. Here are some of the other members of Curved Brim Media.
I'm Paul Caputo, and on the Baseball by Design podcast, I talk to minor league baseball teams, designers, and other super interesting people about what these minor league baseball logos mean. And I talk a little bit about ice cream helmets.
What's up, Bucketheads? I'm Anna DiTomaso, and each week on the Baseball Bucket List podcast, I speak with a different fan about their favorite baseball memories, what the game means to them, and what's left to check off on their baseball bucket list.
Hey everyone, it's Eric from the great state of Kansas.
This is Johnny from the New Orleans Baby Cakes Memorial Museum.
And we are the Earn Fun Average podcast,
where we talk to a variety of guests about their love of baseball and have fun doing it.
America, lower your standards.
Average is what we do best.
This is Patrick
and Corey
of BaseballMapper.com. And we have made an interactive map to help highlight all baseball teams from the majors down to collegiate summer leagues.
We want to bring you closer to baseball. So get on the site and find a team near you today.
Hey guys, this is Patrick Larson from the Minor League Baseball Hat History Series. And in every episode, I go through the history of minor league teams through my personal collection of hats. You can find me on Twitter at PatLarson1. I hope you guys enjoy.
Learn more about Curve Brim Media at curvebrimmedia.com.